We're about to experience the Adhan here at Masjid al-Hijra.
So they're about to make the Adhan right now. Bismillah.
The historic moment. Welcome to Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is where history was made. This is the first major city in the United States of America where the Adhan can be broadcast, meaning it can be heard outside the masjid on loudspeakers. This is the story of how Minneapolis became the first American city to pass a bill to allow Adhan of all 5 prayers to be heard outside the masjid. How did this happen in America? Why did this happen in Minneapolis? Who were the people behind this? And can this happen all over the US? Historically speaking, the first masjid to be granted the right to call the Adhan on loudspeakers was Masjid Dearborn, the American Muslim Society.
This masjid is the first masjid in the United States to make the call to prayer, the Adhan, publicly outside. We went to the court against the city of Dearborn in 1981 and we won the case.
After that, in 2004, America's first Muslim majority city, Hamtramck, became the second city where Adhan was legalized by the local government when the noise ordinance change was put to a citywide vote. 16 years later, in 2020, the City Council of Paterson, New Jersey, authorized the call to prayer between certain hours of the day. But the difference between Dearborn, Hamtramck, Paterson, and Minneapolis is that Minneapolis is the first major U.S. city where Adhan has become the law. In the Ramadan of 2020 that took place during the pandemic, Muslims of Minneapolis approached the mayor. They took the initiative and the mayor responded positively. The Adhan was broadcast 5 times a day but ended when Ramadan ended. The last year in 2022, the Adhan could be broadcast, but due to the noise ordinance, only between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., which meant that Fajr and Isha were often excluded. But finally, in 2023, the Adhan of all 5 prayers were ready to be broadcast. History was made when the city of Minneapolis signed into law the Adhan bill, allowing Masajid within the boundaries of Minneapolis to openly call the Adhan on loudspeakers.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Before this, the Adhan in America was only heard if you were inside the masjid, not outside, on loudspeakers, like you can in Muslim countries. It was unheard of. In a country like the US, where we mostly hear stories of Islamophobia, a story like this is hard to believe, let alone imagine. So how did such a significant event like this happen? There must have been a lot of effort that took place. Let's begin our story with Masjid al-Hijra, the place where this historic moment took place. This is al-Hijra Mosque, the oldest Somali mosque in Minneapolis, right here in Cedar Riverside, the heartland of Somali America. But why? Why al-Hijra? If you remember, originally al-Hijra was the name associated with Medina because it was a place of migration and refuge. Similarly, the Somalians fleeing civil war became refugees and ended up in Minnesota, in the neighborhood of Cedar Riverside, which is also called today as Little Mogadishu, and built their first masjid in 1998, calling it Masjid al-Hijra, the historic masjid where it all started. The story of Islam in Minnesota is this Cedar Riverside, a small neighborhood where this all started. The Somali experience, the Muslim experience in Minnesota, traces back its root right from this building. Today, it is more than just a place to pray. Somali Americans have established it into the Islamic Civic Society of America, which also includes Masjid al-Hijra. And Cedar Riverside, Little Mogadishu, has become the first home for many Muslim Americans of Somali and East African descent. They fled devastating circumstances of war and became a big part of shaping Minnesota. Minneapolis is also blessed with a strong African American Muslim population, concentrated in the north with Masjid al-Nur, along with South Asian, Arab, and Afghan communities scattered all over the metro area. This is why al-Hijra is so important. But let's also talk about important community leaders that deserve a lot of credit. One of them being the head of CARE Minnesota, Jelani Hussain, a prominent figure and community leader of the Twin Cities. And among other heroes, Muslims of the City Council deserve a lot of credit. Out of the 13 City Council members of the city of Minneapolis, 3 are Muslim, and they all come from different backgrounds. The diverse Muslim council members played a very important role because they are the ones who wrote the ordinance in the first place. Jamal Usman, Somali American, who represents Ward 6, including Cedar Riverside. Aisha Chugtai, the Pakistani American, who is also the youngest and first Muslim woman council member of Minneapolis. And the amazing Jeremiah Allison, politician and activist, son of Keith Ellison, the first Muslim congressman and current Attorney General of Minnesota. The 3 of them played a crucial role in convincing Mayor Jacob Frey to sign the bill.
And later, in November 2023, Oreen Chaudhry, the Bengali American, became the 4th Muslim city council member representing Ward 12.
And you might be wondering, what was the reaction of the people of other faiths? Did they say anything? They did.
أشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
Christians and Jews stood up in front of the city council, not to oppose it, but to support it,
This is a city that believes in religious freedom.
in favor of the right of religious freedom. How did the Muslims feel? The big question is, how important is hearing the Adhan for American Muslims?
Brother Usman, tell me, how does it feel as a Muslim in America to hear the Adhan out loud
For
the
great.
first time?
It was beautiful. Alhamdulillah, it's a good feeling. It's a reminder that we can create an environment of taqwa wherever we go. Not many of us really do things to fight for expression of the religion, and we need to start doing that much more. Being proud of that, not just our ethnic identities and cultural identities, but our religious one too, which is supposed to be the most important one. And so this is a reflection of that, alhamdulillah. And so we hope to see more of it.
It is a monumental achievement for the Muslims in America. It is not a small thing. It is a big deal. After decades of sacrifice by the pioneers of Muslim immigrants, a news like this is to be celebrated by not only Muslims in Minneapolis, but Muslims nationwide and worldwide. But not everyone is happy. Immediately after the bill passed, 7 Masajid of the Minneapolis St. Paul area were attacked in the span of less than 2 months, details of which we covered in this video. It upset a lot of people who hate Muslims and Islam, but the Muslim community is committed to stand strong in the face of adversity. And the most important question is, can this happen all over America? There's no denying that the vast majority of Muslims all over the United States want this to happen in their local communities and cities.
For example, in August 2023, New York City allowed for the Adhan to be broadcast during the Jummah Friday prayers, which eventually, inshallah, paves the way for 5 daily prayers.
But no Muslim community has been able to achieve it until now. The city of Minneapolis has set a precedent for others to follow. It took years of concentrated efforts from the local Muslims, the Muslim city council members who championed this achievement, support and encouragement from other faiths, and the mayor himself for the Adhan bill to pass. And now, all Muslim communities in the US can ask their local representatives to pass their own Adhan bill. There will be resistance, but with struggle comes perseverance. With hardship comes ease, and the promise of freedom of religion which America promises. La ilaha illallah.